everyone, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Randy. Welcome to the Crossing Kin Garage.
This is Crossing Kin. We are so glad that you are joining us. Today, we are going to be hearing Dad's ranking of Disney animated movies by their soundtracks. We love Disney in this house. The VHS tapes of the films are what I grew up on, and Dad was inundated with them as he was a retailer in the early 90s and through the 2000s.
Sure.
So the movies, the CDs, he saw them all the time. Dad will be ranking these movies based on his opinion of their songs. Not the score. That's a list for another day. With one exception, the sung musical pieces of each individual movie are Dad's primary focus. But he will be offering scant opinions on the overall film as well. This ranking is Dad's opinion. He's been around for several of these films' theatrical releases and has some insight on what these movies have meant to multiple generations.
She just called me old.
I did not! If you don't like it, make your own list and we can compare.
We'd welcome the input.
Yes, absolutely. But hopefully Dad will be able to make you understand his reasoning. You want to give us a bit of insight to how the ranking
Well, one of the
process
things,
works?
like Kristen says, I've been around, okay? I wasn't around in the 40s when Snow White came out. And, you know, Disney has been a part of our fabric. Animated, especially the animated films, has been part of our fabric of a society. And there are a lot of culturally iconic images as well as music. Now, one of the things that I've used, these are personal, very, very personal likes and dislikes. So I segue a little bit more towards the more upbeat, jazzy type tunes, and away a little bit from the drama, anthemic kind of songs.
There might be a counter that says Dad hates Disney ballads.
I'm not a fan of the ballads there. Now, as far as a reference point, if you're interested, we've got this box set here. It's called The Music of Disney, and it's available at our friends at Discogs.com, or certainly check it out on eBay. This is a CD set. I don't think it's available on vinyl. This is a 4 CD set that goes all the way through, I believe, Aladdin.
Yes.
As far as the music of Disney. It's very, very comprehensive, and it would be a great tutorial for someone who is not as familiar with some of the Disney classic film musics and songs. Now, again, this is just my opinion. We'd love to hear from you about your opinion. I'm going to be critical of some things that are very, very popular. And then I'm going to probably like some things that you hadn't... Wait, I haven't seen that film. It had a song? So, be prepared. We've hinted at this list since we started Crossing Kin. Yeah, this is a list that we've been wanting to do for a very, very long time. It's just taken a moment because there were some films, honestly, that I hadn't seen. Again, these are films that are the fabric of who we are as a generation of people and film goers. Certainly, again, give us your opinion. We'd love to hear it. But these are just mine.
All right, now a couple bits of housekeeping before we dive in fully. Let me explain just a touch of what qualifies the movies to appear on our ranking, because some of the Disney films are not on this list. These have to be the wholly animated, theatrically released Disney movies with 2 or more original songs. They have to be sung to, by, or about the characters and or the situations they find themselves in within the movie. There is one exception to that rule. You'll know it when you see it. If song number 2 is a lead-in to the closing credits or is the opening credits, it doesn't count. Credit songs are not counted. Sorry, Treasure Planet. With one exception, as I said, there are no movies with live action segments. So Make Mine Music, Saludos Amigos, Three Caballeros, Fun and Fancy Free, and Melody Time do not qualify for this list as they each have some lengthy live action segments. Fantasia only qualifies because it is too iconic to leave out. Real quick, we do have some honorable mentions. These are movies that either didn't have or that I didn't remember had enough songs to qualify. So 101 Dalmatians, as far as I'm concerned, it only has one song. The Canine Crunchies jingle doesn't count, and Dalmatian Plantation is a lead into the closing credits.
So sorry, Cruella de Vil.
Sorry, Cruella. We
Great
love
song.
You. Great song, but sorry. Fox and the Hound, I could only remember one song. Best of Friends, sung by the amazing Pearl Bailey.
Wait, just give me a moment. That movie. Oh.
Don't worry.
Copper.
I will be talking about these movies very soon, so don't worry. All Disney movies will get a little bit of a mention. If I'm wrong about Fox and the Hound, it is the one that I am most iffy on. So if I'm wrong, please let me know, and I will give Fox and the Hound a very heartfelt apology. Emperor's New Groove only has one song. It gets reprised, but reprises we're not counting either. Oh, if the epicness that was meant to be Yzma's villain song had only happened and we had been graced with an Eartha Kitt villain song, things would be different. But it was not.
It would have smelled of Santa Baby, I suspect. But anyway, sorry. We digress.
As I said, Treasure Planet, it doesn't get on this list because it only has two songs, both by the Goo Goo Dolls. But again, one of them is the credit song, so sorry. Those songs are very good though. And lastly, Zootopia. It only has one song that gets played over and over and over and over and over and over again until you are very, very, very sick of it. So, again, not counted. We do have one dishonorable mention, and that is Home on the Range.
Stop! She's about to go into a rant.
Just
be prepared. She does not like this film. I confess, I haven't seen it.
I wouldn't let him.
And being a product of the 80s, I might just like it.
No, it's not worth it. I will give my full opinion on this in my version of this video, which will happen in 2 weeks. But, yeah, it's a terrible movie, and it does not belong on this list with good or at least passable movies. Sorry if you are one of the people that likes Home on the Range. Ugh.
Doesn't Bruce Willis voice one of the voices?
No, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, okay.
And Dame Judi Dench.
All-star cast.
Just bad movie. But that is not what this list is about.
Again, we digress.
Let us move on.
Music.
Anyway, I think that's all the very long side roads, apparently, that we need to go down.
How many films are we counting down?
39.
39.
Buckle
we should
in.
probably get with it.
All right. Grab your snacks, grab your popcorn, grab your soda. This is going to be fun. All right. Let's get started.
And now, on with the countdown.
The Disney movies ranked by soundtrack according to my dad.
And again, these are not the scores. That's just the accessory type songs that are used a la musical type songs.
Absolutely.
So, what do we have at the bottom of the list?
Number 39, we have Dumbo, released October 23rd, 1941. This is the shortest theatrically released Disney film, clocking in at an hour and 4 minutes. Songs include Casey Jr., Song of the Roustabouts, which has a bad reputation, Baby Mine, and Pink Elephants on Parade.
It's the bottom of the list for a reason. I'm not a fan of the film to begin with. The music does support it very, very well, so therefore that music is not as great. I mean, we're starting right out of the box with some of the, I think, less favorable songs. Like Kristen said, there's a couple of songs in it that would not even be included in films today, and that's going to be something that we see as a little bit of a trend as we go on. Times have really, really changed a significant amount. If you don't think so, go to Turner Classic Movies or American Movie Classics and see some of those unedited films from the 40s or 50s. Dumbo is another one of those classic films. Got a live action remake that did not do very well for a reason. It's not a great film. In the Disney canon, it is just not, for me, it's not a great film.
All right, at number 38, we have The Rescuers, released June 22nd, 1977. The villain of this movie was originally supposed to be Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians, but the creators didn't want people to think that this was a sequel, so Madame Medusa was created. But you can still find some of the original artwork of Cruella in her intended crocodile skin coat online. Songs include Rescue Aid Society, Tomorrow is Another Day, and Someone's Waiting for You.
For a film that was supposedly set in the bayous of the southern part of the United States, the music does not reflect where it's set to begin with. And that droning on and on and on at the beginning of the film, you're like, somebody please find the bottle already! Stop! Help us! Now, let me take a step back. I like the Rescuers for one real reason. It sets up the Rescuers down under. And I like the story of the Rescuers. Very, very well voiced by Bob Newhart and Zsa Zsa Gabor. Go see the film. It's good, but if you're not careful, the animation every once in a while slips up, and you can see Cruella's outline.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those films that musically it just doesn't really match the setting, and that bothers me a lot. Plus, it's just on and on and on.
Yeah, the most upbeat song is the Rescue Aid Society.
Yeah, and that's just okay.
It's an anthem.
Blah. Move on.
All right. At number 37, we have Bambi, released August 13th, 1942. This film is based on a novel by Felix Salten, and the character of Thumper does not appear in the book.
Wow.
Songs include Love is a Song, Little April Shower, and Looking for Romance, I Bring You a Song.
The only reason Bambi is not behind Dumbo is Little April Showers. It's a fun song. It's very reflective of spring. It sounds like spring. And it is the most upbeat thing in the entire film. Thank goodness they included Thumper.
Yeah, that book must be so sad if Thumper isn't in it.
Well, like so many of the Disney classic stories, the animated classic stories, they were taken from fairy tales and books that did not always have a happy ending. Now, Disney took them and made them very child-friendly, or sort of child-friendly, but made them attractive enough to children that it would be good box office. So, Bambi, Little April Showers, oh, yes, okay. Moving on.
At number 36, we have The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, released October 5th, 1949. Based on the stories of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving and Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame, this film is probably the most faithful, albeit heavily cut down, adaptation of a story Disney ever did. Songs include Ichabod, Katrina, The Headless Horseman, and Merrily on Our Way to Nowhere in particular.
This film was the reason I got in trouble when I was a child. It and the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, I feigned illness just so I could stay home from church on Sunday nights to watch The Wonderful World of Disney. What more can I say than Bing Crosby playing the voice of Ichabod and singing the title song of that portion of the film?
He sings the entirety of the Ichabod and Mr. Toad section.
I'm a huge Bing Crosby fan. Just even at that time of his career, which he was beginning to slow down quite a bit as far as recording goes, this was a huge win for Disney. This film would have probably fallen back further had it not been for Bing Crosby being the major part of the soundtrack. This one, Ichabod Crane. I mean, and it's a great film for Halloween. Who doesn't love that Headless Horseman? And again, this is another one where the score does a very good job of supporting the film as it goes forward.
All right. At number 35, we have Sleeping Beauty, released January 29th, 1959. Some people may not know that this music, the music for this film, is taken from the best bits of the Sleeping Beauty ballet by Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. I sincerely hope I pronounced that correctly. Songs include Hail to Princess Aurora, Once Upon a Dream, and the Skumps song.
As much as I would like to like this one, there's a reason it's called Sleeping Beauty. The film, the music, again, follows along very, very well. It is one of those that just, wow. Yeah, 35. Move on. Not a whole lot to say. I mean, it's the music, the songs in it are just kind of snoozers.
All right, number 34.
Even a prince couldn't wake them up.
Number 34, The Sword in the Stone, released December 25th, 1963. This version of the Arthurian legend is based off the book of the same name by T.H. White. Originally published in 1938, it's the first book in White's Arthurian tetralogy, The Once and Future King. Songs include Higatus Figatus, That's What Makes the World Go Round, and The Marvelous Mad Madam Mim.
Let's establish something right out of the box. If you're talking about the Arthurian legend and there's music, Camelot is your bar. Richard Harris and Camelot is your bar. This one, didn't cut it. Now, Higatus Figatus is a fun song. It propels things along. Madam Mim is just crazy. It's cool though because it's just.
It fits.
This is one of those films in the Disney canon, Kristen will talk a little bit about it probably in her countdown, that I think is very underrated. Part of the reason it's underrated is because they really didn't do a great job of finding perfect songs to go along with it. The Arthurian legend, we are fans. We love things Arthur. But again, Camelot is your bar, and it came along, golly, what was the year on this?
63.
It came along shortly after, I think Camelot was 67.
But the stage version would have been around for a little while.
The stage version, absolutely. The music would have been. And that is just, that's your pinnacle. So draw your own comparisons. Yes, I understand. One is an adult musical. The other is a children's film. A film that's a lot of fun, but just needed better songs. Good songs, just could have done better.
All right, number 33, we have Cinderella, released February 15th, 1950. This classic fairy tale is the film that saved Walt Disney Productions when Walt was on the verge of bankruptcy. Songs include Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes, the work song, more commonly known in our house as Cinderella, and So This Is Love.
So, I like Cinderella. I like the story. Again, it's based off of a fairy tale that really doesn't have a great happy ending, but we cleaned it up in Disney World, so you could, and that's fine. I love this version of the film. But you have to be curious about a film whose singers are mice as your redemption. I love Cinderella, and if it's a work song, that's even better. It does what it's supposed to do, and that to me is the apex of the film.
Your opinion on So This Is Love?
I'm not a fan of these heavy drama, slower songs, and you're going to hear that probably a couple of times as we go through my countdown. I'm just not a fan. So hey, Disney guys, stop it with the drama songs.
Or at least do a happier love song.
Stop it with the slow songs. Get the Sherman Brothers back, or their children or something.
Alan Bacon, he's good at happy songs.
Not all the time. Anyway, moving right along. And the countdown goes on.
Number 32, Pinocchio. Released February 7th, 1940. Disney took the Carlo Collodi tale and changed it significantly by simply having Jiminy Cricket survive. In the book, he gets smashed by a mallet, early on wielded by the titular puppet. Songs include When You Wish Upon a Star, Give a Little Whistle, Hi Diddle Dee Dee, and I've Got No Strings.
This is the absolute scariest, freakiest out film by the Disney, especially in the Golden Age. There are a lot, again, a live action remake has recently come
There
out.
were 3 of them in this last year, actually.
I didn't see any of them because it's a terrible story.
Jiminy Cricket gets smashed in the original book.
You know that it's a film that is going to be panned a little bit when they make horror movies after it as covers. Redemption, When You Wish Upon a Star, has become the Disney signature. And Jiminy Cricket is my hero in the film, as he is so many other people. He's the redeeming, just scariest. Them turning into the whole donkey, that will make you lose your mind.
Monstro scares me.
Yeah, and
The killer whale, isn't he a whale?
it's a whale. Yes,
Okay.
it's a great fish if you like to read the Bible. But anyway, I like the music. It does go along with the film, but it's just not great music. It's because it's I think a terrible film.
You know your songs are scary when an Avengers villain is singing them in Age of Ultron.
That's true.
Terrifyingly.
That's true.
When you can make a terrifying remix of I've Got No Strings as sung by Ultron / James Spader. My goodness, guys.
Kudos to Mr. Spader. He did that extremely well.
Yes, but it did not make us like Pinocchio anymore.
Oh, without doubt. No.
All right, number 31, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Hi-ho!
Released December 21st, 1937. 25 songs were written for this movie, but only 8 were used. Some of those songs are Someday My Prince Will Come, I'm Wishing, the Dig 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 song, and Hi Ho.
Hi-ho and Dig Dig Dig. Any of the songs the dwarves do, fantastic. I mean, that's why this film is higher up on the list than some of the others. Snow White, the very first Disney film. Exquisitely done. It set trends for its time. The music was good and it reflected the time frame in which it was filmed. I'm not so sure that it reflected the fairy tale-esque-ness of what was going on in the narrative. However, again, hi-ho, hi-ho. If you are an employer, let me just encourage you. Open your store with that song. Have your folks coming in to hi-ho. It's a great start of the day song. It really, really is. And hey guys at Joyworks, get ready. You're going to have it. So, hi-ho and the Dig 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 song, I'm a big, big fan. And so it's just, this is, again, those 2 songs are the reason why it's at number 31.
All right, number 30, Encanto, released November 24th, 2021. Bruno was originally named Oscar, but his name was changed to better fit the song lyrics of We Don't Talk About Bruno, no, no, no. Additionally, there was a legal snag over a number of real-life Oscar madrigals that led to the filmmakers ultimately changing the name. Songs include The Family Madrigal, Colombia Mi Encanto, Surface Pressure, and We Don't Talk About Bruno.
We Don't Talk About Encanto.
Oh.
Next.
Oh.
Not a fan. I'm not a fan of the film. Now, this is going to... The world went crazy about that We Don't Talk About Bruno song. Just... okay.
Alright. Number 29, Alice in Wonderland, released July 28, 1951. Based on the stories and poems of Lewis Carroll, the voice cast of this film is stacked with future Disney legends. Catherine Beaumont, who plays Alice, would go on to voice Wendy in Peter Pan. Ed Wynn, who voices the Mad Hatter, would play Uncle Albert in Mary Poppins. And Sterling Howard, who plays the Cheshire Cat, would go on to play Pooh Bear in Many Adventures over 25 years later. Songs include In a World of My Own, I'm Late, March of the Cards, and A Very Merry Unbirthday, the Unbirthday song.
If this wasn't such a weird story, I would love this film. And its music. The music goes with the freakiness of this film. It really, really does. The Unbirthday song, I love the Mad Hatter. The Unbirthday song is the pinnacle in this film. Now, I've oftentimes said, I'm not sure exactly what drugs Disney was doing when he filmed this. However, based on the source material, I'm not sure what drugs Lewis Carroll was doing.
Opium. It would have been opium.
More or early stages LSD, possibly. Music is good. It deserves to be in the top 30 just because of the birthday song. Love it.
All right, number 28, Winnie the Pooh, released July 15th, 2011. In past Winnie the Pooh movies, Tigger was not named in the theme song, but in this film, he is called after Kanga and Roo. Songs include the Tummy Song, A Very Important Thing to Do, the Baxton Song, and It's Gonna Be Great.
This was an attempt to remake something that should have never, ever been remade. And I just can't say enough that, and we've said this before at Crossing Kin, the covers are rarely as good as the originals. And that's what this film is.
It sounds so bad.
It is really a cover of something we're going to talk about later on in the countdown. Again, this is not the film that got me in trouble for feigning illness. We'll visit with that in a few minutes. I think that's in the top 10. Something to look forward to. But this one, it really probably should be lower than this, but because it's Winnie the Pooh, and I love Winnie the Pooh, I'm okay with Tigger, but Pooh Bear is my favorite because I'm kind of fat and round as well. So the music comes along for the ride, and it's a film that just shouldn't have been made with music that shouldn't have been remade.
All right. Number 27, Lady and the Tramp, released June 22nd, 1955. Walt Disney didn't originally want to include the Bella Notte spaghetti eating scene, but it is now one of the most iconic moments in the Disney canon. Songs include He's a Tramp, La La Lu, the Siamese cat song, which we're going to talk about as little as possible, and Bella Notte.
I'm with Disney. Bella Notte is not it's not dogs kissing over spaghetti. And I get it sets the mood for the scene. It does that very, very well. But it's one of those songs. I'm with Disney on this. Bella Notte, He's a Tramp is the reason why this movie is as far up in our music rankings of Disney music, film music. So, kudos for that.
All right.
Moving on.
Yeah, like I said, we're not talking about those cats. At number 26, Lilo and Stitch, released June 21st, 2002. This is the most fondly remembered film of the dark period known as Disney in the 2000s. Songs include Himili no Lilo, Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, and Aloha Oi. Forgive me for butchering that Hawaiian.
Anyway, Lilo and Stitch. Like the film, lovely. Music is very, very good to go along with where we're set, as opposed to The Rescuers. You know, what we talked about earlier. The music supports what is going on in this film. Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride is such a fun song, and it's the reason why it's as high up as it is. Like the storyline to Lilo and Stitch is very unique. I will, however, say that it seems that Lilo and Stitch was made as a marketing tool for selling lots and lots of toys, which over the 20 or 30 years that it's been out, it has done very successfully. Also inspiring a television show, as well as
a live-action remake coming soon.
A live-action, imagine that. So, get your casting ideas in order, but please, leave in Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride.
Yes.
It, to me, is the pinnacle of the film. So,
all right. Number 25, Frozen 2, released November 22nd, 2019. This is the first Disney princess movie to get a theatrically released sequel. And don't give me that they're not official Disney princess stuff. They're included on a ton of princess merch, so they count. Songs include All Is Found, Into the Unknown, Lost in the Woods, Show Yourself, and The Next Right Thing.
Let me just say this. I mentioned a minute ago that Lilo and Stitch was made as a merchandising opportunity. Wow. I mean, certainly I get it. I totally get it. Strike While the Iron's Hot. Frozen was huge. Frozen 2, a little less on the storyline. Music still matched. This film, Kristen likes to point out the fact that the filmmakers, the musicians, the guys who wrote the music for this film were busy doing something else, and it probably it's very telling because there is a letdown with the musical quality of the songs that are in this. It's a letdown because the storyline's a letdown too. I hate to sound overly negative because it's been what I've done so far in this countdown.
We're getting to the good stuff.
We're getting to the good stuff. Frozen 2 is not one of them. However, it gets as high up on this list because of its predecessor, and just
a little bit of the afterglow.
A little bit of the afterglow. Intriguing characters that you wanted to see more of the storyline for, and you wanted to hear more music, but it really didn't quite do what it needed to do.
All right. At number 24, we have Pocahontas, released June 23rd, 1995. Disney animators thought that this was going to be a massive hit, and as such, the A team of animators worked on Pocahontas while the B team worked on Disney's other project at the time, The Lion King. Also, Christian Bale voices John Smith's friend Thomas, which I found very interesting. Songs include Steady as the Beating Drum, Just Around the River Bend, Colors of the Wind, Mine, 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 and Savages, Part 1 and 2. We can't really talk about that, though.
Well, we're going to voice just an opinion real quick. Savages is one of the reasons this film is panned. I'm not sure that the criticism is warranted. I'll try and be nice. I personally think it is a song that fits into the film. My anthemic distaste for Disney songs is abolished. Colors of the Wind is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful song, and one of my top favorite. It's
Dad likes a Disney ballad.
It's a ballad. It's one of the only ballads in the Disney lore that I like this song.
Well, the animation helps with that.
The animation helps with it beautifully. There's a lot of mysticism that goes on that I'm not really sure happened with Pocahontas, and Disney took a lot of liberties with the storyline. That's another one of the criticisms for the film. But overall, I like the film, and it does what it was supposed to do. I think it's incredibly funny, and you'll see later on that the other film that the B team was working on, it has better music.
All right. Number 23, Fantasia, released November 13th, 1940. This is the only film on this list to contain any live action segments simply because it is too ambitious and iconic to leave out. Songs include The Nutcracker Suite, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, and Night on Bald Mountain.
All I can tell you is classical music. We've talked before about the composer countdown that we did, about how classical films, our modern day classic films, are supported by movie scores. This film sets all of that on its ear and takes classical music and develops a film around it. If you've not seen Fantasia, yes, it's as boring as the day is long.
And it is a very long movie. It's 2 hours.
It's crazy for a Disney film to be this long. The highlight is the dancing broom and Mickey getting in trouble. Which doesn't happen very often. Haha, thanks guys. So you've got to understand that this film was based to just support classical music. And it was a vision that was beautifully done. The animation is good. There's no storyline. I'm not sure where the dinosaur thing fits in, but it got a remake, Fantasia 2000, which was really not anywhere near as good. Didn't make my list at all because whatever.
I wasn't sure if it was released in theaters. If it was, I apologize, Fantasia 2000, but I don't think you would have been that high up.
I think it would have been lower than certainly the original. And that's another film that really... People were screaming for another Fantasia, and Disney probably should have just held to their guns and not done it. But the music for the original certainly deserves its rank because it's classical music, and there's just not enough of that in our world. Go and listen to the soundtrack alone. Some of it will be familiar. Kristen mentioned the Nutcracker Suite. Some of it won't be as familiar, but it is all incredible. incredible music.
All right, number 22, Moana, released November 23rd, 2016. The first Disney film to have its music done by Lin-Manuel Miranda. He would go on to star in Mary Poppins Returns, and he wrote the songs for Encanto as well. Songs include How Far I'll Go, We Know the Way, You're Welcome, and Shiny.
The Rock singing You're Welcome. It winds up being the highlight for the film. I really think there are better songs in Moana, but the Polynesian feel, it's very much like in Lilo and Stitch. They do a very, very good job of matching the setting with the feel, and the songs go a long, long way to support that. That whole shiny crab thing, that to me was a fun song. Kind of creepy, but still a fun song. And it matched the character that we were dealing with. It did a very, very good job. Moana, I liked the film itself. The music does a very good job of coming along as a supporting member of the cast.
It's actually getting a live-action remake soon as well, with both Dwayne Johnson and the young lady who voiced Moana confirmed to reprise their roles.
I'm sorry, Disney. You should really leave some of this stuff alone. Moana probably, with The Rock coming along, reprising his role, is going to, or reprising, however you say the word, coming back, it's probably going to be more legit. But Disney, please be careful.
Be careful.
There's only a certain amount of money that is worth ruining your reputation over live action films that should never be made. I like the music for Moana, and that's the reason why it's 22.
All right. At number 21, we have Beauty and the Beast, released November 22nd, 1991. This was the first Disney animated movie to be turned into a Broadway musical. Songs include Belle, Be Our Guest, Gaston, and Beauty and the Beast.
I like the film. I like the music. The story is a little off-putting for me. And the music supports that. Everything from Gaston's just
creepy dude
arrogance, that's what I'm looking for. Everything from Gaston's arrogance to Beast's arrogance. I mean, there's a theme of arrogance and pride all throughout this film that is meant to teach a lesson. The lesson is very well learned, especially by Beast. But when your opening song is your best song, Bonjour is a great song, and it really, really sets up Belle as our great character. And so that's the reason it's as high up as it is for Bonjour.
All right.
Good music that supports the fairy tale-ness again of the film. Just
don't be disrespecting Angela Lansbury's Beauty and the Beast.
Absolutely not. And she is, again, she's one of the highlights. That's a very good point too. That is one of those thematic songs that I'm okay with. I'm not a fan, but I'm okay with.
It's Angela Lansbury. You're not
Angela
allowed to
Lansbury, and I'm just, you're right. Who was also in Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
She also is in Mary Poppins Returns. She's the balloon lady at the end.
That's right. So
that's
a long history with Disney.
I think that was actually her last film role because
I think
she was officially retired.
Yep.
She just passed a few
last
months
year.
Back?
Yeah.
Near the end of last year, something like that. So, all right, number 20.
Top 20. Get ready. These are going to be films that you are probably very, very familiar with. If you're not, get ready. All positive comments, I hope, from here on out.
Well, at number 20, we have The Nightmare Before Christmas, released October 29th, 1993. Composer and Oingo Boingo alum Danny Elfman found writing the 10 songs for this film the easiest job he'd ever had. Songs include This Is Halloween, What's This?, Making Christmas, and Sally's Song.
I liked this film because it's so quirky. And I just have to say, if you've never heard the music of Oingo Boingo, go back, watch MTV. No, never mind. Scratch that. You won't catch it on MTV. They don't play videos anymore.
There's a whole thing coming in August where he gets to unleash that.
We'll rant about that in August. However, Oingo Boingo was this really, really trend-setting band in the 80s. Danny Elfman, who is this prolific composer and soundtrack guy right now, He has done incredible things. Batman, the original one, Michael Keaton, Danny Elfman wrote the score for. He's done some incredible, and his film scores match kind of the Oingo Boingo mystique, if you will. I saw this film for the first time this weekend, and my first question was, is it a Christmas film or is it a Halloween film?
Yes.
Absolutely. Why not? I'm not really a huge fan of some of the dark aspects of the film, but it was meant to be consumed by teenagers and adults, not necessarily children. I can't recommend this film at all for kids. It's certainly not a Christmas film for kids. I'm not sure I would show my kids this film for Halloween. It's really dark, but it's interesting. It's appealing in the fact that it is the Christmas/Halloween story in a way that you would have never ever imagined it, and the music supports it. All these great organs and just incredible. This is Halloween. And what's this? This is Halloween. However, it's that song that gets played every October, and there's a reason for it. It's a incredible, catchy earworm of a song. We'll give you more things along the way from the rest of the top 20 to kind of cleanse that for you. So, but for now, this is Halloween.
All right. At number 19, we have Brother Bear, released November 1st, 2003. In the Italian, German, Spanish, French, and Japanese releases of this movie, Phil Collins actually sings some of the film's songs in the local languages. The number of songs varies from region to region. Those songs include Great Spirits, On My Way, Welcome, and No Way Out, the theme from Brother Bear.
All I have to say is Phil Collins. This was the second film that he did, and you're going to hear his other film later on as we climb our way to the top. And do you know what number one is yet? Anyway, Phil Collins, exquisite job with Brother Bear. It's a little bit strange to see a Englishman, British native, UK native, trying to attempt to do music that's set in, at the very least, Canada, perhaps even as far north as Alaska.
It's set in Alaska.
It's one of those films that you just have to, you really want to hear films from the Great White North. And I apologize because Bob and Doug McKenzie do the voices of the moose in this. Those of you who are my age, take off. Okay, so it's the highlight for me are the moose, and that's because they're brilliantly done by Dave Thomas and
Rick Moranis,
who were Bob and Doug McKenzie in the late 80s. Yeah, late 80s. They were from SCTV, and they had this skit called Bob and Doug McKenzie's Great White North. If you want a really cool vinyl, go get it. Geddy Lee's Rush is on it, and it's a really cool deal. They have a 12 Days of Christmas version that gets played on a lot of radio every year, but I digress. They're not in the film. The Moose redeemed the film for me. Phil Collins does a great job. Tina Turner starts us out.
She sings Great Spirit.
And musically, it is a cool film. Again, it plays along with some mysticism that I'm not really down with, but I suspect perhaps it fits with some of the
Inuit,
Eskimo lore and everything along those lines. So we're just, Phil Collins doesn't necessarily match the setting like we talked about earlier, but it's Phil Collins, and we love everything the man does. And Bob and Doug McKenzie.
At number 18, we have Frozen, released November 27th, 2013. This is still, as far as I know, the reigning highest-grossing Disney animated film of all time, a title that was held by Lion King since its release. Songs include Do You Want to Build a Snowman, For the First Time in Forever, Let It Go, and Fixer Upper.
Let's put this very, very clear. This song is not at number 18.
This film is at number 18.
The film, okay. The music from this film is not at number 18 because of Let It Go. That song need to be Let It Go. So, it got overused, it got overplayed. Great song, please don't get me wrong. But it just got war slap out. And for me Do You Want to Build a Snowman and Summer
Yep.
are better songs. Better songs, my opinion. Now, Let It Go is going to go down as one of those iconic Disney film songs, and it should. It's a great song. To me, I just like Summer and Do You Want to Build a Snowman better. Let It Go is the highlight of the film, without doubt. But I'm not as big a fan of Frozen as some other folks are. Does that mean my heart's frozen? Maybe I should just let it go.
Hey, there's a song called Frozen Heart in this flick, so you never know. I personally, that is my favorite. That and the na na hey ya na, which is technically part of the score because Christoph Beck is credited with that one.
Christoph Beck is someone we've mentioned before. Go back and check our composer's video out.
Yeah, we like Christoph Beck. All right, at number 17, The Princess and the Frog, released December 11th, 2009. This was Walt Disney Studios' first film musical in which all of the voice actors also did the singing for their characters
Impressive.
since Beauty and the Beast. Songs include Down in New Orleans, Prologue, Almost There, Friends on the Other Side, and Ma Belle Evangeline.
Unlike The Rescuers, this film is incredible as far as matching the scenery around it.
Randy Newman did the music.
Randy Newman, Short People Got, or You Got a Friend in Me. Okay, that dude did a great job. He's a piano guy to begin with, and he did an incredible job matching, especially as the movie moves forward with its narrative. The music follows along with its own narrative and supports. And again, it's one of those films where the music really does become a supporting cast member as you go through The Princess and the Frog. The music is, if you like jazz, if you like gospel choirs, this is an incredible soundtrack for you to go and get. Princess and the Frog, not one of my really favorite Disney films, but it is one of my top 20 films for its music.
All right. At number 16, we have The Hunchback of Notre Dame, released June 21st, 1996. Despite being an accomplished singer, Kevin Kline's character is the only one of the main characters that doesn't get a song. But the songs include The Bells of Notre Dame, Topsy Turvy, God Help the Outcasts, and Hellfire.
I love God Help the Outcast and Topsy Turvy. One other thing that is really important to remember is Tom Hulce voices the character of Quasimodo. If you don't recognize that name, Mozart in Amadeus. Tom Hulce played Mozart in Amadeus. That's really where he got Oscar nominated for it as well, if I remember correctly. Tom Hulce does a really good job of bringing you into Quasimodo's story, and the music does an exquisite job of following that along. Again, this is another one of those films that I had not seen until very recently in preparation for this video, and it ranks really honestly in my top 20 of Disney film music just because of Topsy-Turvy Day and just the impressiveness that Tom Hulce and the supporting cast. It's a very big shame that they did not give Kevin Kline a song. He is the hero. He should have had a heroic song. And Kevin Kline is one of my favorite actors to begin with. He's prolific in my opinion. And he is a gifted singer and should have had a song.
They actually kind of rectify it because there was a Broadway version that never made it to full-on Broadway, and he has a number of show-stopping numbers.
So, I mean, if you get the opportunity to go see the Hunchback of Notre Dame musical, it redeems, from what Kristen is saying, it redeems some of the downfalls.
It is darker. It is darker. It sticks a little closer to the book, but it is hauntingly beautiful. It is a hauntingly beautiful musical.
A lot of Broadway musicals are darker, though. I mean, let's just face it.
Let's just be real. That's the way Broadway be.
But the music really is good for this film. I was almost shocked because I really didn't know what to expect musically as we were listening through, but it does a very good job. And good stuff.
All right. At number 15, we have Hercules, released June 27th, 1997. The girl group The Spice Girls were initially approached to play the Muses, but had to decline due to scheduling conflicts. Songs include The Gospel Truth, Go the Distance, Zero to Hero, and I Won't Say I'm in Love.
One of the worst things that happened to this film was Michael Bolton doing his version of Go the Distance. Now, don't get me wrong, sold a lot of singles. Michael Bolton did Michael Bolton. But to me, the original is far better than his cover of the song. The Muses redeem this film, in my opinion. Musically as well as storyline. There are so many wrong things in this film.
I'm going to talk about that in
Kristen's going to go in detail about it. Good film overall. I love Greek and Roman mythology. This one's kind of both. And neither of the twain should mix. But the Muses...
His name is Heracles.
Yeah, the Muses do a very great job. And it fits. They've taken... That's the cool thing about this. The Muses take a type of music, gospel, and bring it into a film that it shouldn't fit at all.
And
but it does. It does exquisitely. First time to use that word, this film. So, yeah, if you just check out the soundtrack. Hercules, if you're a fan of mythology at all, you'll be scratching your head a couple of times. However, it's an okay film. Music is good. It deserves to be in my top 15.
Mm-hmm. All right, at number 14, we're getting into the good stuff now, guys. We have Mulan, released June 19th, 1998. Mulan is the only Disney princess with no ties to royalty within her movie. She's considered a Disney princess due to her saving of China. Songs include Honor to Us All, Reflection, I'll Make a Man Out of You, and A Girl Worth Fighting For.
The music, man, they should have let Eddie Murphy sing. Mushu should have had his own song. And sadly enough...
He only speaks at one point during I'll Make a Man Out of You.
He's totally left out of the live-action version. No Mushu. I got this pointed out to a couple of fellas who were selling me my new phone this last week. I didn't realize that. I hadn't seen the live-action. The music, however, it does a very good job of setting up the flair. It's not necessarily Asian by its nature, but it does set up the flair of the song. Battle warriors and the sorrow of going into battle. It's, you know, be a man. I mean, that Donny Osmond just singing in, you know, I mean, the first thing he's really sung and gotten any props out of in a very, very long time. So, you know, yeah, Mulan, number 14. It's
fun fact, fun. Jackie Chan actually covered I'll Make a Man Out of You in Mandarin. Jackie Chan has a CD out there and he covers I'll Make a Man Out of You.
You heard it here first, folks.
All right, wow. At number 13, we have Tarzan, released June 18th, 1999. This is the final film in what is commonly referred to as the Disney Renaissance. Songs include Two Worlds, Son of Man, Strangers Like Me, and Trash in the Camp.
Trash in the Camp. Great song. Covered on the, it's actually twice in the movie. NSYNC and Phil Collins get to do it at the end as the end credits, and it's wonderful. But in the film, it's covered by Rosie O'Donnell and the cast. And it's very, very good there, too. This, to me, is one of the best stories of Tarzan ever. No offense, Mr. Weissmuller and fans of the Tarzan films from the 30s. This really does just a very, very good job. It is one of the only. It comes alongside of being one of the only ballads that I'm okay with. Phil Collins.
You'll Be in My Heart.
Yeah, You'll Be in My Heart, and just the animation is good. The music supports this film in a lot of ways. Does a better job in this than Phil Collins did in Brother Bear, setting up with percussion and the sounds of Africa and things along those lines. So kudos. That's why it's at this number in our countdown. To me, it's the best of the two Phil Collins films that he did for Disney.
All right, at number 12, we have Peter Pan, released February 5th, 1953.
You can fly, you can fly, you can
This
fly, you
film
can fly.
incorporated something from the stage play wherein Captain Hook and Mr. Darling were played by the same person.
Mr. Smee!
In this case, Hans Conried. It's spelt weird, so I hope I said that correctly. Songs include You Can Fly, You Can Fly, You Can Fly, A Pirate's Life, Follow the Leader, which we kind of can't sing anymore, and What Makes the Red Man Red, which we definitely can't sing anymore.
Yeah, this is a film that's gotten a lot of criticism, and a lot of it has to do with its music. And again, I think it's unfair, personal opinion, but you have to look at this in its context.
You have to
when
look
it
at
was
some
made,
movies like they're time capsules.
you have to look at them in the context in which they were made. It's kind of like reading the Bible. You have to have the full context before you can truly understand what it is they're trying to say. And this film, Hans Conried is one of those actors. I believe he actually did some musicals on Broadway. So it would have been very, very cool for Captain Hook to have had a song.
The choice is up to you. He sings a little verse in A Pirate's Life.
So, that being said, You Can Fly is a great, great Disney song. It is, there have been so many renditions of Peter Pan. Musicals, non-musical versions. This
the terrible version with Christopher Walken, Peter Pan Live on NBC.
I don't know that I saw that one.
You don't want to.
Anyway, this one is remarkable because of its animation and its music supporting the fairy tale-ness of the film. All of the music has been sprinkled with fairy dust, and it is just good. It's fun. Even some of the more controversial songs are a lot of fun, and you just, again, context is everything. Go watch the film with open eyes and open hands, and understand it was made what year?
1953.
1953. Again, go back and look at some Turner Classic Movies and American Movie Classics films from the 30s and 40s, and promise you they would not be films that would get made today. Next.
All right, at number 11, we have The Great Mouse Detective, released July 2nd, 1986. Disney's longtime voice of Scrooge McDuck until the actor's death, Alan Young, voices Olivia's father in this film. Songs include, there are only two of them, The World's Greatest Criminal Mind, and Let Me Be Good to You.
All I have to say, Vincent Price is bad in this film. And I mean bad.
Bad in a good
sometimes,
way.
If I could borrow from Huey Lewis, sometimes bad is bad, baby. So, Vincent Price, incredible villain in this film. And his music is fantastic. This is one of those Disney films that we absolutely adore. It is a take on the Sherlock Holmes myth and lore, and it does an incredible job. Plus, Alan Young. We dearly love Alan Young. Kristen will go into some of the details about why we do, but Alan Young is a great voice character who had been around Mr. Ed. Wilbur in Mr. Ed is who Alan Young is. So
he's Scrooge's voice.
He's Scrooge's voice, and he will always be Scrooge's voice, even if they recast it.
David Tennant did a great job, but Alan Young is Scrooge's voice.
Anyway, the music for the film goes along, and there's one. Vincent Price gets to do the villain song. The other is a little risque for a family YouTube channel. All I can say
look up
is
the title of the song.
Go check it out, and if you want to see a mice saying, "Let me be good to you," imagine your own conjectures there. YouTube it. Your mouth will drop.
We will not be linking that in the description.
Context. Go and watch this in the context of this film. In the context and body of the film, the songs really do fit.
Yes, this is a fantastic movie, and the two songs, as well as the score. I'm not sure who does the score, but the score is fabulous.
In our opinion, this is one of those lost classics. It joins several other films that everybody is like, "Oh, Frozen, Frozen, Frozen," and we're like,
Great Mouse Detective.
Great Mouse Detective. Come on.
All right. We've reached the top 10, guys, and we're not stopping till we get to the number 1.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you, Casey. All right. Number 10.
The top 10. The top 10 is going to feature films and music that are going to be mind-blowing. Again, You may not agree with this entire countdown, and that's fine. That's great.
It's our channel. We make the rules.
Well, don't be like that. We like to think of ourselves as musicologists around here. We don't know everything, though. So there might be some bit of trivia that you picked up on, or a song perhaps that we really didn't fail to highlight, or we failed to highlight. Please let us know in the comments below. But for now, the top 10.
All right, at number 10, we have Robin Hood, released November 8th, 1973. This film is considered the first film in what most people, not us, would call the Disney Dark Age. These were movies made after Walt's death without receiving any input from him before his passing. Songs include Oodalali, The Phony King of England, and Not in Nottingham.
I have two things to say before I get started on my song thing. Roger Miller, Phil Harris. These were two guys who were already involved in the music industry at their time. Roger Miller was the original, he was to this film what Elton John was to The Lion King, what Phil Collins was to Tarzan. Roger Miller was the first to do it for Disney.
He's the rooster, if you don't know that.
And he starts off beautifully whistling. And
Whistle
Roger
song.
Miller, if you don't know who I'm talking about, King of the Road, Dang Me, several novelty type songs, but he was huge in the late 50s, early 60s. And he's one of our favorite Disney characters, as well as wrote the music for a good portion of this film. Phony King of England is great. Phil Harris, we're going to talk about him some more later. Must have been on contract for Disney for quite some time because he shows up in very recognizable ways. And one wonders.
We'll get there.
Kristen's going to cover that. Some of those Phil Harris. Anyway, teaser. So we'll let you get on that one. The music's great. We love the music for Robin Hood. Robin Hood is one of those films. If you've never seen it, go and see it. And it's really okay for kids for the most part. They're just minor things in it.
I think a snake gets drunk, and that's the only thing that I would have an issue, and maybe the fire.
With any film, we highly recommend you preview it before you allow children to watch it, even Disney films. Yeah, they're sanitized fairy tales, but we say err on the side of caution. You know your children better than anybody. Please, preview the film before you allow your kids to watch Disney films or any films. For that matter. We live in a generation who is losing their innocence, if I can go off on a tangent for just a moment, and I really feel like that if a lot of parents should really take the time necessary to preview some of the things that our kids are watching. And I've just now turned into my father.
That's not a bad thing.
Robin Hood, great film.
All right, at number 9, this is probably one of the more surprising entries in the top 10. At number 9, we have a Goofy movie, released April 7th, 1995. It only took Tevin Campbell, the voice of Powerline, a couple of takes to record all of the songs for his character. Songs include After Today, Stand Out, On the Open Road, and Eye to Eye, which is spelled letter I, number 2, I, which is a reference to a Prince song, apparently.
Tevin Campbell was so huge at the making of this film. You really don't hear a whole lot from him today. He's just grown up. But he was a singles factory at this time. And the songs for this film, it comes along and it launches Goof Troop. It launches a bunch of other things that you're just like, okay. And there's a sequel to a Goofy movie.
Which
and
is actually better, if not just as good as this.
One of the things that I highly recommend, the music is very good. We love On the Open Road.
Dad and I sing it sometimes when we're on road trips, and it's very funny.
There's some really interesting, watch the video for Open Road and watch it very closely. There's some very interesting cameos that happen through that song. I just like the story of Goofy and Max. I've always liked Goofy since Sports Goofy back in the 60s. Shout out to Jeff. And so we like the character of Goofy. The film does a great job.
No worries.
We like a Goofy movie, and the music does a great job propelling it through its adventure. Great film if you want to, as Father's Day is coming up. Phenomenal film. That's a good film for fathers and sons particularly, but fathers and the whole family to watch. Goofy movie. Great music. Tevin Campbell. Go look up his stuff on iTunes or Apple Music or Amazon Music.
I will try to link in the description. There was like a celebration of an anniversary. I think it was 20-year anniversary, where the voices of Goofy and Max actually sang On the Open Road live. I believe Tevin Campbell was there as well, and I think he did either Eye to Eye or Stand Out live. And just watching the actual actors sing it, and they're just hugging each other, and it's so precious.
It is. It really, really is.
So I will
precious.
try to link that in the description if I can find it.
A Goofy movie coming in at number
9.
Number 9.
All right, moving on to number 8. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, released March 11th, 1977. This is what is commonly referred to as a package film, a series of unrelated shorts put together through a narrator that serves as their connective tissue. While Disney made many of these, this is certainly the most charming of the bunch. Songs include Winnie the Pooh theme song, Up, Down, Touch the Ground, Little Black Rain Cloud, the Tigger song, and Heffalumps and Woozles.
As many people like Tigger, I'm not as big a fan. For me, Little Black Rain Cloud is the apex of this film. I just love Pooh Bear singing it and the irony that is cast about as he's trying to get away from the bees. I will also, again, say this. This film, I was sick most of the time this film came on television during the
Sick.
Wonderful World of Disney, which just happened to air on Sunday nights when I was supposed to be in church. I was ill, but this was still on the TV.
Very ill. Poor
Perhaps
Cecilia.
you were as well. Maybe you feigned illness. If you have stories of wanting to watch The Wonderful World of Disney on a Sunday night when you were supposed to be in church, let us know in the comments. This is one of my favorite all-time films. Again, just for Starling Holloway and the voices that are just iconic. Sebastian Cabot is the narrator.
Hal Smith is Owl.
Hal Smith from Andy Griffith. He was Otis in Andy Griffith. And some other things that we know. Adventures in Odyssey, he was the original John Avery Whitaker, for those of you who know about Adventures in Odyssey. He played Owl in this film. Just love, even it's a little disjointed as a film.
It's a package film. That's their name.
And that's the reason, but the music is just precious. Just absolutely precious.
All right. At number 7, we have The Lion King. Released June 24th, 1994. The best-selling home video of all time, with over 55 million plus copies sold. There are unconfirmed rumors that half of that came from my dad's branch of Hastings. Songs include Circle of Life, Be Prepared, Hakuna Matata, and Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Hey, Hastings 9697, shout out to you guys for selling more of this than any store in our company. And yeah, I got a Christmas card from Sam's that year because of it, because we made their top 10 customer list. Hastings executive, if you're listening, you can't fire me now, so that's okay. That was a long time ago. So, hey, 9697, great job. We were singing Hakuna Matata all over that store. And for me, Hakuna Matata is the reason this song is as high as it is. I could do without Can You Feel the Love Tonight. That's just me personally.
Daddy hates Disney ballads.
Please, no hate mail or no hate email. It's a personal preference. You are allowed to have yours. I'm allowed to have mine. Make your own YouTube channel and your own countdown, and we'd love to see what yours is. For me, Hakuna Matata is the ultimate yes, yes, yes song. The Lion King, some people would have thought that the music would have made it up higher in the list. For me, the ballads and some of the slower pieces, and honestly, Scar's song is just creepy to me.
Well, they
it happens
cut
to be
his creepier song.
Scar's Be Prepared happens to be one of our grandson's most favorite songs right now.
His grandson, my nephew.
He's one. That tells you his taste in music. We're trying to fix that.
He
But
calls
anyway,
it hum because of the humming at the beginning.
the
Very cute.
the gentleman who voiced Scar,
Jeremy Irons.
thank you. Jeremy Irons does a great job singing it, and the rest of the music, the music for Lion King. We sold so many of that soundtrack, almost as many as we did the film. It is absolutely one of the most perfect. And as Kristen noted before, it was made by the B team at Disney. The A team was working on Pocahontas, and so I'm wondering if the A team for music happened to come along and say, "Well, we're not going to be a part of that Color My World thing. We're just going to go and do."
Elton John and Tim Rice.
Yeah, I've never been a huge Elton John fan, but he did a great job if he had hands in all of the music.
I believe he did.
And I think he did as well. So, Sir Elton John, hats off to you. It's not Philadelphia Freedom, but Hakuna Matata comes really, really close. Great job.
All right.
Nice soundtrack overall. It matches the setting. That's a theme in a lot of the Disney things that we've talked about so far. The music really does a great job. Even the soundtrack, popular music, does a great job of being a part of the cast. And this one does it very well.
All right. At number 6, we have Aladdin, released November 25th, 1992. Robin Williams would not stop riffing during his recording sessions for Genie, so the animators wound up with double the work because directors Ron Clements and John Musker thought his stuff was too funny to cut completely. Songs include Arabian Nights, One Jump Ahead, Friend Like Me, and A Whole New World.
Robin Williams it could have very easily been called Genie instead of Aladdin. The music is set up so well, and his ad-libs are so incredible that it really just it makes a legion of people, generations of folks, adore this film. A Whole New World is actually not a bad Disney ballad. It's not one of my favorites, but it's not one of those that I'm just like, we could have done without it. That song actually does fulfill a plot point, if you will, and it does a good job of doing that. Now, the more upbeat songs, Friend Like Me, Prince Ali, those are incredible songs, and Robin Williams does a great job in voicing all of those. Musically, it deserves to be as high up, possibly even higher than it is, but if it didn't have A Whole New World in it, perhaps it would be. Again, I just have an anathema for Disney ballads. They're just ballads. Number 5.
At number 5, we have Tangled, released November 24th, 2010. First Disney princess to receive the 3D animation treatment. Also my personal favorite Disney princess. Songs include When Will My Life Begin, Mother Knows Best, I've Got a Dream, and I See the Light.
The only creepy song in this thing is Mother Knows Best. It really, to me, it wasn't needed. They could have done that. They could have set that stage without that. Really, just
the gaslighting song.
Awful. I think Mother Knows Best is just an awful song.
Oh.
The rest of the film's music. Mandy Moore, you really need to sign a contract with Disney and do a lot of its voices for its future songs. You do an incredible job. The rest of the cast.
Zachary Levi,
one of our favorite actors right now. Shazam! Does a very just the vocals are good. The songwriting is good. It's really, with the exception of Mother Knows Best, and maybe one other song that obviously is a forgettable ballad, but the overall soundtrack and music is just great. And it's the story of Rapunzel told in a very, very different way. It's one of those tragic fairy tales that gets the Disney spin, and it works so very well. Spawned a television show as well, countless product tie-ins. This, for us, is a better film than Frozen. It's what Frozen wishes it could have been.
Yes.
And we love Tangled at the Crossing King Garage.
All right.
The music is fantastic.
Number 4, The Little Mermaid, released November 17th, 1989. This is considered the film that pulled Disney out of the Dark Age and gave birth to the new era, the Disney Renaissance. Songs include Fathoms Below, Under the Sea, Poor Unfortunate Soul, Kiss the Girl, and Part of Your World.
All of the music from here on out is fantastic. Even the slower pieces, Kiss the Girl, I love that song. the Poor Unfortunate Souls is a great song and sets up what we're talking. Just the music. The music is part of the reason this film brought Disney out of the dark ages, so to speak, and really, really is the beginning of a renaissance for them in animation, in music, in storytelling, and they combined the three in a very, very good way. The music was a gazillion. I was with Walmart at the time, and we sold a gazillion pieces of this soundtrack because of Under the Sea, a part of your world, and
Fathoms Below.
Yeah, maybe.
Kiss the Girl.
Kiss the Girl. Yeah, Kiss the Girl. So I mean, those three songs really go a long way of supporting this overall soundtrack. But all of the songs are good, as are all of the songs in the top four.
Top three. All right, coming in at number 3.
Wait, before we start the top three, I want to do a qualifier here. Top 3 songs. These are 3 films. Perhaps you've even guessed at what they might be. Maybe you haven't. They're films that musically go further. Tangled, Little Mermaid, yeah, top 5 films, need to be in the top 5. But these next 3 touch people in miraculous ways. Their music is fun. Some of it's by popular artists, some of it's not necessarily well-known folks, but it's all just incredible. The top 3 was very difficult for me to come to a conclusion on with the music, but for now, here we go. Top 3.
All right, at number 3, we have Oliver and Company, released November 18th, 1988. This film boasts some major singing talent as part of its cast, with Billy Joel and Bette Midler both voicing and singing for their characters, while Ruth Pointer of the Pointer Sisters provided the singing voice for Rita, with Cheryl Lee Ralph doing her speaking voice. Songs include Once Upon a Time in New York City, Why Should I Worry, Streets of Gold, and Perfect Isn't Easy.
You open this song with the hottest band in the world at the time.
Huey Lewis and the News?
Huey Lewis and the News. That New York City song is a great, I mean, it almost equals Billy Joel's New York State of Mind. It's very reminiscent of Billy Joel's New York State of Mind, but I don't know that they could have gotten the licensing for that, especially with Mr. Joel being an integral part of this film. Now, it does have its downsides. Yeah, the voice acting is by a bunch of singers who probably shouldn't have been trying to do their turn at voice acting, but the music far, and the story is good. The story, don't get me wrong, I just think
it's Oliver Twist.
It's Oliver Twist, and if you haven't ever seen this film, which many of you may not have, go and watch Oliver and Company. Good film overall. The music is outstanding. It's by some of the most popular artists of the day: Billy Joel, Huey Lewis, Ruth Pointer, Bette Midler. Cheech Marin is one of the voice characters. Tito. And it's just one of those films that you come away singing "Why Should I Worry," and it's one of those films that song could have very well been the precursor to Hakuna Matata, and it's just a very endearing song. Came around for us at a time I really needed something that spoke to me, that said, "Why should I worry?" And these songs, even the Bette Midler annoying, just goofy, it suits it because Bette Midler has kind of that persona as well, and so
she's just a Broadway baby. Give her the Broadway too.
We love Oliver and Company. Love the music. Go and see it. Stream it. Rent it. Buy it. Get the soundtrack. All
right. At number 2, we have the Aristocats, released December 24th, 1970. The Sherman Brothers talked Maurice Chevalier out of retirement to sing the title song. It was his last work before his death in 1972. Songs include Scales and Arpeggios, Thomas O'Malley Cat, Everybody Wants to Be a Cat, which we kind of have issues with, and that's it. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Maurice Chevalier, if you're not familiar with the name, they have all 4 little girls. Not in a creepy way. It's a classic film. He was a part of the 30s, I want to say, maybe again the time wrong, 30s, 40s, and 50s Leslie Caron, a lot of these French actors who came along and were a huge part of Hollywood's heyday. He sang or spoke his songs in just incredible ways. Maurice Chevalier does a great job with this film. Everybody Wants to Be a Cat, Scatman Crothers. It just
Phil Harris.
You know, it just, to me, this music is a compendium, if you will, of music, scales and arpeggios, tending a little bit towards the classics and classical music.
And then the Thomas O'Malley Cat is just straight jazz.
It's, you know, absolutely. There's jazz, there's classical. Probably not a whole lot of pop music in this thing, but that's one of the endearing forms for this classic Disney film. I can't say enough. Everybody Wants to Be a Cat is a great song. The soundtrack, the score to the film supports the things that are going on, and the songs from it are just fun. They're just fun. So that's number 2. Imagine what could be number 1. Have you thought about it? Have you guessed it yet? Have you wondered, what is he thinking? I need to comment and tell him I don't agree with you, and that's fine. Or yes, bravo. We love compliments as well here at Crossing Kin and the Crossing Kin Garage. So please let us know your feedback. But now, number 1.
All right, and finally, number 1, The Jungle Book, released October 18th, 1967. This was the first Disney credit to Phil Harris. He would go on to voice Thomas O'Malley in The Aristocats and Little John in Robin Hood. Songs include The Bare Necessities, I Want to Be Like You, Trust in Me, and That's What Friends Are For.
Look for the bare necessities. I mean, Phil Harris sets up this 3-picture iconic, just, his voice is Baloo. His voice just is Baloo. And you have to wonder, Kristen's going to do this wondering later on too, but there's some other films we've already mentioned where Phil Harris does the primary voicing for, that you're like, wait, that's Baloo. Is it Baloo? Possibly.
He doesn't disguise his voice.
He doesn't disguise. There's no necessity to it. I actually own a Phil Harris piece of vinyl, and it's fantastic. And you're just like, I can see a great big old bear singing this song. You know, the music for Jungle Book is just 1967, I was 3 years old. My little brother was born. My wife was born that year. It is just, to me, the peak of what Disney music is. Look for the Bare Necessities. A great song. A great song that just speaks volumes for, I mean, it really does speak a message to the world in which we live. All of the stuff we've got here in the Crossing Kin Garage, it's cool, it's groovy, but it's just stuff. It's not anything that I need, as my wife points out on occasion, but it's stuff that I enjoy. But it's just stuff. And that's kind of the idea behind the Bare Necessities. I Want to Be Like You. Oh, just, it's so much fun.
It's
all
Louis
of the music.
Prima.
It's Louis Prima. All of the music in this film is just fun. It's just fun. And that is why The Jungle Book is the number 1 song movie for me from Disney. That's been a long countdown. We apologize for the length. We hope, however, that you've enjoyed this opportunity to just maybe revisit some of the music and magic that was because of the music of Disney. Thanks. I appreciate you spending the time with us tonight. And from the Crossing Kin Garage, this has been the Songs of Disney, the countdown.
All right. Well, there you have it. Like Dad said, that is his official ranking of Disney animated movies by their soundtracks. Did you learn anything? I learned that Disney really likes to release their movies in June and November. I guess those are the prime spots. Did you learn anything, Daddy?
It reinforced the idea I don't like Disney ballads.
One more for the counter.
One more for the countdown.
All right. So, what do y'all think? Was Dad right on the money with his ranking, or did he veer way off track? Let us know down in the comments below, or email us at crosskin6 6496@gmail.com. Tell us your favorite Disney soundtrack and what other franchises you might like us to rank. To make sure that you catch our next video, ring that bell icon so that you're notified whenever we upload, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The next video, as we have alluded to throughout this entire ranking, will be my ranking of every wholly animated Disney movie that was theatrically released, with the Fantasia exception and the same exceptions that we had at the beginning of this video. But any final thoughts, Dad?
For now, we're just grateful that you tuned in for us. We hope that you love music. We hope that you love movies. We hope that you love literature. We just want you to be a fan of the arts. We are fans of the arts. We hope that comes across in these videos. We never want to come across as authorities on anything. We know very little about a whole lot. And
special thanks to imdb.com for all of the trivia I provided tonight.
We know how to get to resources, and that's one of the ways that we're able to bring you Crossing Kin. If you'd like to know some of our resources, we're happy to share those with you. Again, discogs.com, ebay.com are where you can find a lot of the soundtracks that we've mentioned tonight. On CD, they're relatively inexpensive.
iTunes and Spotify.
iTunes and Spotify, certainly stream them on your favorite. I'm not as big a fan of streaming because you just, but anyway, yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. So until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Randy, and from the Crossing Kin Garage, keep everything you do wrapped in music.
All right, see you next time.
Bye.